CEOs, CFOs, you know them. They are the C-suite, the bosses. Now they have a little advice on adapting leadership strategies. And joining me today is Catherine Lavelle, a managing director at Accenture Strategy. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you here. So tell me, who really comprises the C-suite and why do they need a new leadership approach?
Sure. So by C-suite, we're thinking of the company leaders. So this is typically the CEO or the president, and usually his or her direct reports. And they need new skills because we've actually found that in today's world of radical transparency and speed of communication, word travels fast. So this group needs to be able to communicate effectively, and typically they've relied on what we're calling left brain skills, things like finance, data, analytics, strategic thinking. And what they're required to do now to be effective is to employ more of those right brain types of skills, things like creativity, empathy, self-awareness, relationship building, innovation.
And so you found this because there was a pretty comprehensive study. You interviewed not only executives, but also employees and consumers. How are the employees and the consumers motivating this change?
Well, it was interesting because we found that a full 30% of the population falls into a group that we're calling pathfinders. Pathfinders on both the consumer and the employee side are a group of individuals that together feel not only empowered, but actually socially responsible to raise their concerns and interests and issues to the very top of organizations. So they've got a big voice.
So how can leaders harness all this input and this energy to actually help their business?
So to be able to apply that right brain and left brain skill set together and really leverage a whole brain thinking approach to thinking and strategy, we recommend that organizations and company leaders try three things. Number one, shake up the C-suite. Think about bringing in different skills, probably somebody from a disruptive industry or someone who's dealt with the Pathfinders group a lot in the past. Number two, work across all levels of the organization. Leverage your employees, especially your Pathfinder employees, to practice communications that you might undertake with the outside world. And number three, practice, practice, practice. Employ case studies, role-based scenarios to actually practice stretching the right brain skills as well as those left brain skills.
It really is interesting because I feel like, you know, when you were hiring in yesteryear, it was always about just your skills. And now I'm hearing things like creativity and empathy. Not that those aren't skills, but it's sort of, it's a different arena. Soft skills, sometimes people will say, but they're not. They really do help a business's bottom line, you found.
That's right. I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, we found that companies who do leverage whole brain thinking and draw on those right brain skills actually have higher revenue and earnings. They actually have, I think 8% higher revenue and up to 23% higher earnings before income and taxes.
And so
it works.
How can employers sort of foster those skills in maybe the employees that they already have, that they hire them for the hard skills, but maybe they do have more the creativity and the empathy? Is there a way that they can harness that as well?
Well, Elsa, I'm glad you asked. It's a great point because it's not only the most senior leaders that are going to need those skills, but managers and employees at all levels in the organization. So some of the things that I mentioned before apply at various levels. One other technique we might mention is human-centered design thinking, where in tackling a particular problem or issue, you actually put the individual, the person at the center of the problem and figure out what are their interests and how can you address them. So this is something that marketing and research groups do a lot, but by employing it through all areas of a company, you can actually get employees to see things through someone else's eyes.
Perfect. Catherine, thank you so much. Really important information. Appreciate you being here. And we'll be right back with more Midday Maryland right after this. Stay tuned.